Support WrestleTalk!
Hello and welcome to the Raw. What am I doing?
That's not how you start
That's
the show.
not how I start the show.
You start with the title.
That threw me off.
For me holding up the belt.
I don't know what threw me off. What's the name? What's the... Big E?
Big E is not over and it's WWE's fault.
Big E is not over and it's WWE's fault. Not mine. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD, and your JTJ Ampium. Please give us a subscribe. Press the thumbs up button. Leave us a comment with what you think on Big E's push while we talk last night's episode of Raw, which was a bit of a slog to get through.
We were just sort of talking off mic a little bit before we came on today, and we had a bit of a chat about this morning where I don't know what to talk about on this show. Really didn't know what to talk about on this show. I was like, I guess we'll talk about Bobby Lashley going into the title match, or we could talk about Maryse slapping Miz. That's the most watched thing on WWE's YouTube channel.
Veer Mahan.
Still coming. Still coming.
Winter's coming.
Yeah.
Winter's going to get here before Veer Mahan.
I mean, I actually, have they been teasing Veer Mahan for now? That's 2 Winter is Comings.
I will tell you. Have you not seen this?
No.
So this was from Ace King Off Suit on Reddit. The Veer is coming to Raw vignettes began 49 days ago. Hit Row's entire main roster run was 48 days.
Oh, that stings a bit, doesn't it? Oh, man, that really does sting. Yeah, because he was like, it was when the draft, wasn't it? And then there was a couple of weeks of the draft where they had the crossovers and stuff. So anyway, we were struggling to think of a title. And then you struck upon the idea of, Big E's not really working as WWE Champion, is he? And we both came to the agreement was like, yeah, it's not, but it's not his fault.
No, not at all.
It's just that WWE don't know how to book a babyface.
But they do, because they did it with Drew McIntyre last year. Drew McIntyre wins at WrestleMania, goes on this, like, you know, really successful run. He's always protected. He's always the focus. It's in singles feuds. It really felt like Raw, under those first 6 months of Drew's reign, was the Drew McIntyre show. And that's what I want my wrestling shows to be when they've got a main champion. Like, that's kind of my problem with AEW right now. It doesn't feel like it's the Hangman Page show, does it? Feels like it's the CM Punk and Bryan Danielson show featuring Hangman Page. And unfortunately, Big E is in a similar predicament, far worse though, where he needs to be the focus. He needs to have like really good storylines, really good matches, and really good angles to get him over, because he is still an unproven main event draw. But he is getting lost in a triple threat feud, which was more about Seth and Kevin Owens anyway. But okay, that was a really well told story. I was getting a kick out of it. But last week, they were just like, put a Bobby Lashley in it. And now Lashley's been added, and he beats Big E on this episode along with everybody else. And now I'm like, Big E this is not a good run. This is not a good run as champion. And that must really hurt Big E. He's not stupid. He knows what's happening here.
Yeah, he also lost a Survivor Series and hasn't really felt like he's had that big win off the back of that, you know, to sort of like reestablish the fact that you are the WWE Champion and you are the face of this. Because that's the other thing as well. They often talk about like, who's the face of Monday Night Raw? Because it sure as heck isn't our WWE Champion. The Bobby Lashley thing. Talk about being the Charlotte Flair of this feud. You know, just being randomly inserted into a match that you've got no business being in. What annoys me the most about this is there's no storyline justification for why he's there. They can pretend there's one. Oh, it's about disrespect. You lost months at a time to try and win back the title, and then you went into a different feud. That's what happens. But obviously, Vince woke up last week and was like, God damn it, pal. Why isn't Bobby Lashley? Why isn't the Almighty going for the belt? We should just put the title back on him. So they're now like shoehorned in a reason to put him in there. And then they set up this gimmick for the show where Bobby and MVP open the show. And they talk about the disrespect that they're not in the title match. You all right?
Getting excited.
The disrespect that they're not in the title match. And then Kevin Owens comes out and he talks about the fact that he had to earn his way into this. Seth Rollins comes out and says, I had to earn my way into this. Big E comes out to say something. And then Pearce and DeVille appear on the stage. And they're like, do you know what, Bobby? We think it's actually a great idea that you get put into this match. So long as you can beat all three of the people in one night. And I wrote, brilliant. What a way to build a title match by beating all three opponents to lead up to it. Because Bobby was always going to be inserted in. So you've pinned two of the contenders and the WWE Champion in one night to build a pay-per-view match for the title.
There's so much wrong with it because it's not just that. It is also Bobby Lashley, the bad guy, right? Mm-hmm. The heel.
Well, that's what at one point I thought he turned face in all of this. When he was beating up Rollins and Owens afterwards and Big E was helping him and they were sort of like working together, I was like, did he turn face all of a sudden? Did I miss this?
And there was that video package 2 weeks ago where it was like, look at Bobby, what a family man. Look at all these collegiate achievements. But he had to beat three guys on the same night. And that's an underdog babyface story.
Yeah.
So it just utterly fails on every element of psychology, really.
I've actually just got to highlight Furthausen's comment here as well, which is, if Big E wins at day one, who's next? Who's left? He's beaten...
Who cares?
He's beaten three of the top contenders in one foul swoop.
Bron Breakker.
Well, like, that's the other side. You've gone through 3 months, 4 months, 5 months worth of stories for one match at day one. And 5 months, 6 months worth of contenders for one match on January 1st, like for the start of the year. It just burns things out. And I think Big E needs a bigger win than this. Like, I'm sure in WWE's mind, oh man, he's beaten 3 top contenders. Like, that really puts him over. No, what put him over was beating Bobby Lashley in a singles match.
Yeah.
If he'd have beaten Rollins in a singles match, and then you'd have done the Rollins-Owens triple threat at the Rumble, say, and he won that, then you would have felt like, okay, Big E is really starting to prove himself as a champion. For me, like, the worrying writing was on the wall when in his first matches he had as WWE Champion, he was just selling for 90% of the match. And I was like, uh-oh,
yeah,
he's John Cena.
Yeah, we both said that same thing, didn't we? So, okay, you're going to do it. You're going to add in Lashley, right? Do you do the version where you beat all the other people in one night ahead of the pay-per-view? Or, because how bad does that make Big E look?
Yeah.
Or, do you do, and I don't think this is the best version. Like, it's still a bad idea, but you want Lashley added. Lashley has a 4-man faction, 3 of them active wrestlers. How will they coexist?
But they're not really a faction, are they?
But they are when you need them to be. Have the Hurt Business taking on Owens, Rollins, and Big E, who are united in not wanting Lashley to be added to the match. They self-implode, whereas the Hurt Business, they're a long-running, always together, fully functioning unit.
I'm sure Cedric and Shelton are thrilled that Bobby is in the main event. And you're right, like, that is a very easy way around this. And the other thing that made Big E look like a complete dunderhead on this show is in the main event. It's a no DQ main event, and it's Big E versus Bubbles. Owens and Rollins run out to attack Bobby Lashley because they don't want Bobby Lashley added to the match. Quite rightly so. You don't want him added to the match. They think he's not earned this spot. We think it should just be a triple threat. We'll keep it between us. Big E stops them and throws them out of the ring, puts Kevin Owens through a table. And then you've got Big E and Bobby Lashley fighting with each other, like siding together to take on their heels. And I'm like, oh man, are we getting a can they coexist tag team match for next week? And then he's just like, no, you and me, Bobby, we're going to do this together, just the two of us. MVP clips him in the back of the leg so that Bobby wins by cheating. Made him look like a complete prick.
Yeah. It was no good, and it really has taken one of the shining lights of Raw, which was this triple threat program. Whatever story they had, they've effed it.
Oh, yeah.
So just to recap, it was Lashley beating Owens, Owens just tapped. The Hurt Lock wasn't even on. They went 5 minutes. Hurt Lock was half applied. Owens tapped, got out of there.
Yeah, smart man. Smart. He's saving himself for the pay-per-view, and he rationalized with Rollins in a backstage segment. Look, I was out first. If I can't beat him, then you can. Like I wasn't going to beat him in that moment, so I'm saving myself. Now it's up to you, Rollins.
Which, it's the Lashley Rollins match also had a pretty neat finish.
I really like the finish of this.
Where Seth is like, no, I don't want your help, Owens. And he wrestles a bit with Lashley. He's on the ramp, and Kevin Owens comes out and just boop, punches Seth in the face.
What I love is, so he attacks Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins is incensed that Kevin Owens attacked him. You're like, what are you doing? Why are you always attacking me? And then they announce, your winner by disqualification. Seth then picks up and they're like, oh, that's brilliant.
Like there is Seth and Kevin Owens. There's something there.
Oh, they're
really funny together.
Yeah.
But then they restarted the match. Lashley won right away. These are good character beats, but they're good goofy character beats. And this doesn't feel like befitting of a giant WWE title match like it did just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
When Kevin Owens was this unhinged, sort of deluded babyface / heel. And you remember when he went to cheat and he cheated and Big E was like, what the F, man? And Owens was like, I didn't mean it. How psychologically complex was that? And you've gone from that to goofy Owens and Seth. And as great as that is, oh my God, it's leaving so much on the table.
It's not the best version of this story.
And ultimately, as we've already said, Bobby beat Big E. So I just don't care about this match now.
Yeah, you said to me last week, do you think Bobby's going to be put into the title match? And I was like, I don't see why, because there's no storyline reason for him to be there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You were bang on the banana. He got put into this match. And I now do care less about this match. I still do think Big E is going to retain at day one. But I don't think it's doing anything for him by retaining. And I do have this fear that they're going to put the belt back on Bobby.
Let's get into the Ultrachats. WrestleTalk.com/support. Get them in. We'll read out everyone over $5. The bad one, Jam Beard. He's changed his name, right?
No.
The bad one, Ryan B. Bad.
No, he's been Jam Beard for a while.
Oh, okay. I think Big E is going to pin Owens in the match, and it will be Seth versus Big E at the Rumble, because Seth will complain he never got pinned or his singles championship match.
Yeah, I mean, Seth has been screwed in all of this.
Lakshmi Narasimhan B. So Lashley won a championship contenders match, a championship contenders match, and a championship contenders match, all in one night to become a championship contender. Well, I thank WrestleTalk for watching Raw on my behalf.
Once again, we never say his name right. Bringing in the great chats.
Great chats. Trenton Brown. This Raw is too sad / boring to talk about. Let's talk about something positive.
About time.
So, Luke, how about that Sonic 2 movie trailer?
How about that Sonic 2 movie trailer, right? Oh, my God. I saw it at 2:30 a.m. last Thursday. Oh, or last Friday even. Wow. Just amazing. Can you imagine what the world would have looked like if they hadn't changed the design?
The bigger eyes.
If they hadn't gone for, how Sonic actually looks and gone for that movie aesthetic where someone in Hollywood was like, well, no, I know better. I know how to make a movie. That's not a character design. This is a character design. But no, they realized they changed their ways. And then we got that poster, and it's Sonic 2 on the biplane with Tails in the pilot seat and Dr. Robotnik in an Egomatic behind him. And I was like, well, this is 7-year-old me's mind is being completely blown here. And 36-year-old Luke's mind is also being blown. It's such a cool trailer.
I'm happy for you.
Thanks, bud. It's so cool.
Adam Simpson. I have to say, I only watch WWE through YouTube clips because I don't have BT. The fact that they can't even make a 3-minute YouTube clip seem interesting is honestly mind-boggling. Anyway, tomorrow's Amazing Spider-Man and Dynamite. What better? O'Reilly, maybe?
Tony Khan did say that surprises are coming, and it's not just winter is coming we should be keeping an eye on.
Whoa. Is Spider-Man out tomorrow?
I think so because they're the premiere for it. So I think it is out this week.
Yeah, it's definitely out on Friday. But is it? Can I see it tomorrow?
Let's have a look. Let me go. Cineworld.
I mean, I'm happy for Sonic 2, buddy, but
Ashford Wednesday. Yeah, Spider-Man. You can go see it tomorrow.
Oh crap! I've got Quizlemania.
Oh, Davis has double booked himself.
I was like, what is it? What is it? What is it in my head? Ah!
We should go see it in the morning.
I've got the news.
We can go see it after that.
What's the earliest screening?
So, we need to find which cinema we need to go to. But you and I could go see it because we're recording Cineworld at 3, and we've got a meeting at 2. We've got to be at that meeting at 2 because there's Secret Santa to be done. Oh, but we could try and go. Maybe we could try and go see it at lunchtime.
All right, well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. The bad one, Jam Beard. Happy birthday, Luke. Your gift is an absolutely terrible Raw.
In fairness, it wasn't a terrible Raw. It was just boring.
I thought it was terrible.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like,
I think I'm numb to it.
Because the booking was so bad.
Yeah, but like...
And every babyface, apart from Belair, lost.
Well, here is where I think I currently sit with Raw. You're absolutely right. The booking was real bad. The writing was real bad. Rhea Ripley lost in 48 seconds. But I've seen that for all of 2021, so now I'm just like... Well, there you go. That's another episode of that show, I guess.
4 out of 5. El Votios. The moment I saw that the only announcement for Raw yesterday was what Lashley was going to do after the attack last week and nothing else, I knew this was going to be a disaster. Only watching your reviews. Love you all. LIW for life.
Thank you very much for all of those chats coming in on the Fightful show. Fightful post show with Sean and Denise. People didn't really want to talk about Raw much either. They just wanted to talk about Hook. And
Hook.
And Denise was like, "Are we still talking about Hook? Like it was on Friday." And I was like, "No, I'm still going to talk about Hook now." A lot of our predictions. We've just recorded our 2022 prediction show. So many predictions about Hook.
And what are you didn't read any of those?
Well,
out.
that's because a lot of them were like Hook will win every title in AEW.
Well, this is phenomenal. So we've got to sort of optimize our videos. We've got a keyword explorer. You search a keyword, and then it has like the next things that are searched for in order. So like usually you'd type in AEW, and it would come up AEW Dynamite, AEW Dynamite Full Show, AEW Dynamite Highlights, AEW Rampage, that sort of thing. The top one,
Hook, AEW Hook,
AEW Hook,
AEW Hook Music is number 2.
So the boy is over. What happens if I type in Hook? Hook AEW. Hook AEW is outranking Hooked on a Feeling. The song.
I mean, I've been actually keeping an eye on the chat as well because I'd use it to see if anyone's saying that the audio is bad or anything. And everyone, like every now and again, you'll just see someone go like Hook in all caps, just Hook, send Hook, Hook's been sent.
Well, we haven't spoken publicly about it. I don't know what you do on the Twitter, but we were talking on WrestleTalk Extra about how he is going to get over based on the strength of his hair alone because he has the hair of Steve from Stranger Things.
It's incredible hair, isn't it?
Can I get his hair on my head?
Do you know what?
Do they do operations for that?
My other favorite part of this is that, you know, the internet's been going wild for Hook for the last year anyway. Like he was sort of ironically over, like via Twitter, kind of like in the way, you know, Tamina was over at WrestleMania. Like it's just an internet thing. And then he debuted and I was like, oh man, he's actually a badass. Like he's actually real cool. He's like a really cool wrestler. He's got this amazing presentation, incredible aura. He just looks so cool. And everyone's into him in a legit sense to it. He's only just been signed by the company as well. Like AEW put out that are saying Hook is all elite. So then everyone was like, wait, he's not been signed this whole time? It was literally just the dad was bringing his kid to work?
That's great. But just as a reality check, folks, it was the lowest rated quarter of Rampage. Twitter isn't a real place.
It's really not. As John Moxley said, no one has a good time going on Twitter.
Right. So we've already spoken about the opening of the show, which was that sort of Lashley setup.
Talk about most of the show, really.
Yeah. Then we got Riddle versus Otis, because Otis laid out Riddle after the RK Bro tournament match last week. Riddle did all he could. Otis kept on catching him, and in the end, like in 5 minutes, squashed him with a world's strongest slam.
So what we have done is last week we had a tournament to set up a number one contenders so we could have a match with one of the teams that lost in that number one contenders tournament to pin the champion to become the number one contenders.
So it was meant to be Street Profits versus
the Mysterios.
The Mysterios, but something's up with Montez Ford, Meltzer said. That's why he wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this was... Stop beating Riddle.
Well, he's the jobber of the team. Randy's the star. Did you watch the SmackDown match? That match was New Day and the Usos working over Riddle for 95% of the time to get the Randy Orton hot tag so he can go in and get the win.
Randy has got the sweetest job right now. He is the modern day Kevin Nash. He's like, I do my high spots, my hot tag, that's it.
They did a backstage segment with Riddle and the cast of Jackass Forever, and Randy Orton was also there. Because Randy Orton's new gimmick now, at least this is what I thought, they stopped doing it this week, was he's got nothing to say. So Riddle will talk to the Jackass crew for ages and ages and ages and ages, and they'll talk back to him for ages and ages and ages. Randy says nothing, and then Riddle goes, Randy, do you have anything to say? And Randy goes, no, I don't, and walks off. He doesn't even have to cut promos anymore.
Yeah. It's that he is damn. Damn! After that, we got Doudrop versus Bianca Belair. A really good match, I thought, apart from one botched spot, that Hurricane Rana. I love watching Doudrop wrestle. I think she is what Nia Jax should have been from an in-ring work perspective. She really believably throws people around. But, Belair beat her. Got beaten up all the match, but then managed to powerbomb her off the second rope. 451.
Hate this. Hate that.
Yeah.
Hated this a lot. Hated this. It was my favorite thing on the show last week. Hated this follow-up. And that is the story of Doudrop on the main roster. Starts off something real good, and then bollocks it the following week. Apparently, WWE have also trademarked the name Piper Niven, so there's every chance that she does go back to that name. But I hated this. So, the story you were telling was that Bianca Belair can hit the KOD on anyone. She hit it on Tamina for 2 weeks running. That was actually a smart little bit of booking, a bit of storytelling there. She hit it on Tamina 2 weeks in a row. Now she's feuding with Doudrop. Can she hit the move on Doudrop? Oh man, then you have the match last week, and she lifts her up. Oh no, her back gives out, and Doudrop has almost psychologically won the match. So she walks away. I've got nothing to prove. It was not a great finish, but you can kind of ride around it to be like, I've proven that you can't hit the KOD on me. So what else do I have to do in this match? And then Belair just wins. She doesn't hit the KOD, but she just wins anyway. So what's the story here? Because surely the point of this is Bianca Belair hits the KOD and wins. I've seen her win now. I don't need to see her hit the move. She's won.
But that's the story.
But it's not a story.
The crowd.
No,
the crowd don't care about the wins. They just want to see the move get hit.
This is so bad.
Yes, you beat me last week, but you didn't hit your finishing move on me.
So, Doudrop, you've lost twice in this feud, and you want to lose for a third time. Brilliant.
You beat me with a signature.
Oh my god, this is crap. Really, really rubbish. Why the... I need this one. Why did Bianca win this? This is such an easy story to tell. Have her attempt to do it again. She can't do it. Doudrop pins her. And then she's like, you can't hit your move on me. It doesn't matter. You can pin her now. She's going to win the feud eventually. But she's won the feud. She's beaten her twice in 2 weeks. And the match will just happen again next week. I hate this, hate this, hate this. So it's terrible television.
So Belair wins. Doudrop's in the ring, recovering. And Bianca's at the top of the ramp celebrating. And then she's attacked from behind by Doudrop. And I'm like, what? How did she get behind her?
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that saw this. I tuned into the Fightful review and they were just like, and then Doudrop attacked her from behind. I was like, she teleported. We saw her in the ring selling.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair walked to the ring and then Doudrop ran out from the back to attack her. How did she get there?
Have you seen the movie The Prestige?
Oh, yes, I have, yeah. You reckon you think there's 2 of them?
Yeah, twins. I said in my review, Doudrop.
Oh my God.
Anyway, there was a montage of all the college athletes for WWE's Next in Line program, the class of tomorrow.
There's a lot of them.
Oh, yeah. You got to play the numbers game when they don't know how to wrestle yet. And Gable Stevenson was hungry in the crowd, eating his medal.
To correct you, that's Stevenson.
Stevenson.
Not Stevenson.
Lashley beat Owens. Veer Mahan is coming. Becky Lynch came out, cut a really good promo, I thought. She's great at delivering words. But the crowd, it's weird, isn't it? When the crowd are just all standing there with their arms crossed and their mouths not moving. And the audio sounds like, yeah, boo. And actually, when you think about it, the boos and the cheers sound really similar to other boos and cheers that happen seconds beforehand. Don't know what's up there.
I mean, perhaps I'm reading between your lines here. Are you telling me that WWE piped in audio?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So Becky just said, I beat Liv last week. Morgan came out. I don't think she's actually that good a promo. I don't know if it's the material she's given.
I think it's 100% the material she's given.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their idea here is that, well, we'll just keep beating her and that'll get people to like her. WWE like to make their baby
worked last week.
WWE like to make their baby faces look like losers.
Yes.
And they made her look like a loser again here. Not helped by the fact, and I can almost hear Kevin Dunn being angry about this. Liv stops to cut her promo on the ramp. There's this little girl in the crowd who is a big Becky Lynch fan. She's wearing a The Man t-shirt. She's got a little Becky doll, and she is booing Liv Morgan, sticking her tongue at her, being like, "Boo, you suck,
Becky rules.
Becky rules, you suck, Liv." And the camera then just tries to crop her out of the shot. They asked Liv Morgan to step forward a couple of paces because this little kid is ruining the story we're telling.
But that's another example of it's not a good sign for an arena show when you can hear individual people in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I know she was right there, but usually you don't hear that. So, yeah. Also, it kind of undermines Becky saying, "Look, I'm such a good heel. Look at this girl who hates me." It was a picture of the girl from the previous week who looked, the new Angry Miz girl when Liv lost. But they cropped out her dad laughing at her.
This was not a great promo by Liv. I don't think her character is great at the moment. I don't think... Really, for me, what turned me off Liv was when she laughed at Becky Lynch for showing emotion.
Yeah.
Like that, it becomes a really muddled character story you're telling. Because then at the end of this, she challenges Becky to another match at day one. And then Becky attacks her and hurts her arm by drop kicking it into the steps. And then she accepts the match because now Liv is injured. So it's not what I would have done. I pitched what I would have done last week.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just doing the rematch at day one. Because why not?
After that, AJ Styles cut a promo backstage about how he genuinely wants Omos to succeed. Of course, they had a bit of a falling out the last 2 weeks. And Omos is actually behind him because, he's such a subtle, sneaky guy.
Yeah.
And Omos is like, you said that about me? And he hugs him. Yeah, so AJ's turning on him. Immediately.
He's going to eliminate from the Rumble.
Oh, yeah. Reggie and Dana Brooke really do look like they're going to have a romantic storyline. They're walking in the park in the snow. Reggie asks her out for a drink. But then R-Truth, Akira Tozawa, and Tamina ambush them.
I mean, Nia Jax isn't there anymore. And you have to give Reggie a romantic storyline because I think that's all Vince knows how... Romantic storyline and flips. That's all he knows to do with Reggie. So he's just like, well, we'll just do it with Dana Brooke instead now. Nia's not here anymore. And there's potential there for some fun comedy of them trying to do dates, trying to go out for drinks, trying to go out for dinner, walks in the park. You could almost do, the walk through the snow. I was like, man, is this the next Netflix Christmas film? I quite enjoyed Love Hard. Then maybe we'll get... Did you watch it?
I watched Single All the Way.
Oh, how was
on
that?
Friday. Yeah, it's pretty good, actually. What the great thing about it, is you look on Letterboxd afterwards, and it's just mostly people going, "This is true equality. Gay people have rubbish rom-coms as well now." You know, it's not about coming out to the family or anything. It's just a really, really generic rom-com.
Yeah, I'd recommend Love Hard.
Yeah,
I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
And really a good emotional core to it as well. Anyway, what was I saying? So yes, there's some good potential for comedy here. Problem is, A, WWE don't know how to write comedy. B, they've got their one joke, which is Tozawa and Truth saying you at each other, which I think they've been doing for 2 years now. God. So that joke's not funny anymore. And that means that what we're going to have is just bad segments.
the TV is trying to turn itself off because it's so bored by this show. Yeah, it's not funny. Yeah. Damian Priest tagged with Finn Balor against those dirty, dirty dogs. You know, good wrestling for the time they were given, but Austin Theory got up on the apron and distracted Balor. Ziggler won. Austin Theory.
What's your beef with Austin Theory?
No real beef with Austin Theory. It's more just everything else. You know, why isn't Finn getting pushed? Why can't I get the Dolph Ziggler Priest match that was kind of set up last week?
Well, that was to give Dolph a win here in a tag match.
Well, we'll come back on to Austin because we got another Vince segment. Rhea Ripley took on Queen Zelina. They had a little promo backstage beforehand. Rhea and Nikki talking about how Nikki's rubbish, and
not only that, but also how Rhea's rubbish as well. Nikki, like, she literally says to you, like, "You beat Charlotte Flair. I can't do that." Cool. What a great character.
Match begins. Carmella tries to get in the ring. Nikki chases her. Carmella super kicks Nikki. Nikki's hurt. Rhea's like, "Oh no, my friend." Zelina rolls her up. Pinned in under a minute.
48 seconds. Rhea Ripley pinned it. She came second in the Royal Rumble. She nearly won it. Pinned in 48 seconds by Zelina Vega. All 4 foot nothing of her.
Then Lashley beat Rollins. Then here we are. Come on. Austin Theory walks into Vince McMahon's office, and there is Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz. You know, they wrestled on Main Event.
Did they?
Yeah. I think they lost to T-Bar, or they beat T-Bar.
T-Bar never picked up a win.
No.
I don't believe that for a second. I'm going to Cage Match to double check that.
Check the results.
There's no way that T-Bar won a match.
By now, it's a joke that Apollo was asking for his release when they walked in. But yeah, Austin Theory comes in. He's like, "Hey, did you see that picture I took with Finn? How's that? I'm really learning."
T-Bar won.
Oh my God.
T-Bar legit won. Sorry for spoilers for Main Event. Yeah, he beat Apollo Crews.
Get out while you can, Crews.
Oh my God, T-Bar got a win. The T-Bar push begins.
Come on. Vince, so Theory shows Vince the picture, and Vince goes on a weird dialogue run of saying, "What do you want? You want a trophy? Do you want a..." What was the second thing he said?
Oh, I can't make out because he just comes in like, "Oh, what do you want? You want a trophy? Do you want a pat on the back? A pat on the back.
Pat on the back." And then he said, to finish this off, "You want my autograph on a doily?"
Yeah, well, you know, he is 100 years old. Probably still has doilies.
I was just like, what are you talking about? And then Vince said, "We're not friends. I don't have any friends. I'm not impressed." And then he got a pencil out of a drawer and said, "Do you know what the most important part about this pencil is? It's the eraser."
Well, the most important part of this pencil is it's not the pencil bit. It's the eraser on the other side. I think what Vince was going for in this segment was some comedy. Because what he does is he says, everything you just said there was like, "Do you want a trophy? Do you want a..." Very bad, like, eye-rolling acting. "Do you want a pat on the back?" And then he essentially insinuates that he's going to take his knob out. because he's rifling under the table for so long while staring Austin in the eye. And Austin's being like, oh, what's this old man going to do?
If I have to.
And he's
I want to get a match.
I mean, attacking Finn Balor's doing nothing for me, so I guess... Like that guy trying to get water for Fyre Fest. It's like...
Have you watched that recently?
No.
It's the second time you mentioned it today.
It just popped in my
What
mind.
was the exact quote? What was the exact quote of that guy?
I can't remember.
Fyre Fest blowjob guy. What did he say?
Go to images or quotes?
Images. It'll be there. And I got to his office fully prepared to suck his dick. But that's not. What is it? I'd take one for the team or something.
I can't remember. But anyway,
beautiful.
But yeah, basically that's what it was like. It was like, are you ready to take one for the team? Do you want some water? And then he just pulled out a pencil instead. He's the Booker man, I guess.
Sorry, I can't find it. I'm just reliving this ridiculous thing.
Fyre blow job guy quotes.
Yeah, quote I should have written.
The blowjob guy from Fyre Fest doc is totally cool. There you go. I think we may. It's on Know Your Meme.
So this is the documentary Fyre Festival, a spectacularly botched music festival in 2019, I think it was. And one of the guys who was organizing it, there was like this almost cult leader, con man, scammer who was in control of it all. But then there was
Billy McFarland.
Yeah. Then there was this really sweet older guy who was just trying to... He was obviously in love with Billy.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to do everything he could.
Is his name Andy King? Andy King, yeah.
And they'd run out of water.
I've got the quote here.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got the quote here. So in the film, the organizers, Andy King, describes a time when Bermuda Customs withheld a shipment of water bottles for the event. When Billy McFarland, the festival's founder, explained the issue to King, McFarland told him, Andy, we need you to go and take one big one for the team. You're a wonderful gay leader, and we need you to go down. Will you suck dick to fix this water problem? King continues, I got to this custom agent's office fully prepared to suck his dick, but he could have been nicer. He said, Andy, listen, I'll release the water. I will let you serve it, but I want the people paid first.
The guy, too eager, too ready to suck a dick there, I think. Try and sort it out financially first. Oh, my God.
Yeah, well,
where even were we? Yeah, because Vince is there for a while.
Because he wants you to think the audience, he's going to take his dick out.
No, his dick isn't over here.
No, because like the way he was like fumbling under the desk and he was staring at Austin Theory. Look, I'm not saying it's a good joke. I'm not even saying they executed it well. I'm saying I think that's the joke they were trying to do.
Because last week's bit between them was very sexually innuendoed, wasn't it? Because there are other ways you can impress me. And Austin Theory's like, okay, and he takes his top off and he starts doing the jumping jacks, and Vince McMahon watches him leave like a perv. But I don't think Vince is not writing a sort of homoerotic joke here.
Maybe he is. Maybe. Hey, Stephanie McMahon said that we're going to have LGBTQ storylines in WWE. Maybe this is it. Maybe. Vince was just like, no one else can do this but me. I'm the only person that can tell this story.
So what do you think the eraser means?
Well, getting rid of someone, I guess. Like, it's less about attacking Finn Balor. It's erasing him from existence.
Whatever. And finally, because we've talked about the main event of Bobby beating Big E, Maryse was the host of MizTV because the guest was The Miz, who introduced a video package.
I just want to clarify as well, because some people are questioning why we said rubber.
Rubber?
Yes. Because in America it's called an eraser, whereas over here we used to call it a rubber.
Yeah, rubber.
But in America, a rubber is a condom.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably wondering, what show did they watch?
Yeah. I can see why that would be confusing. So Maryse is the host of MizTV. They play a sort of fake Hall of Fame 2022 inductee video package for The Miz.
People take this feud seriously.
And Edge came out and they had a brawl. And Miz pulled Maryse in front of him, which he's done 100 times in his career. But this time, Maryse was like, well, I'm the mother to your children. She slapped The Miz and walked out. And Miz was trying to repair things.
I mean, I still don't care.
Well, I think, like the first installment, because we're 3 weeks into this feud now. The first promo, interesting. Don't care about the match. The second week, more of the same. Care less about it. This week, this was a bad segment.
It was because it's the same promo that Edge has been cutting for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Like, Edge came out and cut the same promo that they did week 1. Like you just said there, like week 1, it's a bit of intrigue in all of this. It's actually quite like, blurring between the lines of reality and fiction. Week 2, I mean, you've just raised all the same points you did in week 1. And then this week's like, oh man, you raised all of the same points you did in week 1 and week 2. Only this time, Maryse slapped Miz at the end of it and walked away, which is the only new interesting wrinkle to this. And so, yeah, like it's totally fine. But it's hard to care about because I'm watching the same thing week in, week out.
How do you see this transitioning into a Beth Phoenix and Edge versus Miz and Maryse?
Well,
match?
I would wager that this is a swerve. That Miz and Maryse planned this to get into Edge's head. So Edge thinks that Maryse is on his side, or Maryse isn't going to side with the Miz, and then at the pay-per-view at day 1, Maryse will help Miz win. And that's how you then get to Miz and Maryse versus Beth and Edge.
Christ.
So it's as a guess.
And then we've already covered the main event. So overall, I thought this was a bad show. It was boring, and usually that's a 2 out of 5 level if it's boring. But it was also like the booking of having Bobby beat every single one of your main event stars on the same night. Just incomprehensibly bad. But it wasn't as bad as other shows have been this year. So I gave it 2 out of 5. But honestly, it was a hair away from being a 1.
Well, our community poll, 39% said it was a 3 out of 5 average show. Jesus. 25% said it was a 2 out of 5 poor show. 26% a 1 out of 5 rawful show.
Skewers negative, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Before we get on with our remaining Ultrachats, let's say thank you to our wonderful Pledgehammers on Patreon. Hit the music, champ.
Oh, I will do.
How do you like them apples, Marcel Dura?
Thank you for your birthday message this morning. Duncan, just Duncan.
Spoke in class today, Jeremy Smith.
Jonathan, the headmaster headman.
They are Spartacus.
He's a family guy, Jeff Griffin.
The stunning Wesley Potter. ...
Dive, Dylan Cashetta.
Living in the past, Kieran Pryor.
Yanni Zayn Hamid.
The Shrockmaster, Austin Shrock.
Oh man, I got the hard one now. To round us off with this Hall of Fame class on the 14th of December, 2021. And this is my actual birth year for a second. I was so used to saying it. Viernes el Tercero, Jason Gutierrez. Nailed it.
Thank you, everybody. Of course, if you're not already signed up to Patreon, go over there now because mine and Luke's review of NXT TakeOver London from 5 years ago?
6 years.
6 years ago.
2015.
Jesus.
Star Wars The Force Awakens wasn't even out yet.
The next day it came out, and we talk a lot about that and geek culture at the time.
The episode is about 2.5 hours long. The first hour of that is me and you talking about Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Yeah. And how it was fine.
Yeah. We all convinced ourselves that it was good at the time, and over the years have realized that it was actually just our excited fandom sort of made us think that way.
A mixture of excited fandom and a large company doing an impression of an organic movement. That sounds a bit like NXT itself, I think, is the lesson I learned from rewatching it.
God, it really was, wasn't it? Yeah. It was an astonishing wake-up call. to the NXT that we thought we knew watching that show back. So a fascinating little show that'll be released hopefully tomorrow, in fact, for our Patreon backers. So head on over patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
Right, remaining Ultrachats. Nate S. The whole Bobby Lashley winning thing feels like all the other times we've said, just don't book it. Can't wait for the they had no choice excuses on the booking of beating all 3 contenders.
Love that. They had no choice. But how else were they supposed to get him there? Just don't book it.
Peter Mullins, who's been a member for 2 months. I am so appreciative that other shows exist now to juxtapose this utter S-word. It's jarring to see good content versus Raw on a weekly basis. Hook that hook. Hook section. Riot DR. Nikki is being booked in reverse. She wins a world title, then loses to Charlotte. Beats Charlotte, loses again. Enters the tag division, wins those belts, then losing streak. Nikki not quite a superhero. Vega and Mella, totally super villains.
I mean, yeah, if you actually did that story backwards, where she ends up winning a world title, it's a good little story, that.
Yeah.
Which is, it's what we said when she first won the title, and people told us that we were wrong.
James Hanley. WWE is a bad dungeon master. I know this because I'm a bad dungeon master. It doesn't matter to me what the party is doing because I'm telling my story. I rush story parts because I want to get to the next big thing because it's so cool. I at least accepted this. It's a very good comparison. Fu Yang. Memberg, 4 months. Hi, first time watching live in over a year. Raw is so boring. I watch Raw on demand to fall asleep to.
Get into podcasts.
Danny G. Hi, guys, and happy birthday, Luke. Thinking you fellas don't get enough credit for what you do. I honestly can't imagine what it would be like having to watch Raw each week. It would just make me sad. So I salute you both. Thank you, Danny. We get to watch AEW as well.
Exactly.
So it balances out overall.
And I'm going to steal what Sean always says about this as well. I would much rather be sat here talking about bad wrestling than doing any other job.
Justin, stop whispering in my ear, step host Vince. You know what it does to me?
Step boss.
Peter Mullins, if you haven't, find Alvarez's story of Vince running promo class where he told Sheamus and Wade Barrett to be dogs. They stared in silence for 45 seconds. Wade growls, and then Vince yells, "Not actual dogs!" called them bitches, then stormed off. This is WWE.
Oh, I need to find that because that's a great Vince story.
I mentioned this on a show we just recorded. It's the prediction show. It'll be out later. And because I'm rewatching Succession, the similarities between the Roy family and the McMahon family are crazy. Literally, the episode I watched last night, it has Kendall and Roman. Those are Succession characters, not WWE ones. They're talking about their childhood where their father used to let them pretend one of them was a dog and then lock them up in a cage and they would have to eat what they thought was dog food, but it was actually birthday cake to see which one was the more powerful out of the two. And then the one that wasn't, he shipped off to military school.
Wow. And
you're like, is this actually Vince trying to find out of Wade and Sheamus? Well, I can only have one British guy. Who am I going to choose? Yeah. The guy that actually is a dog here? Who will be a bitch? Or, that to me, Sheamus comes off better because he didn't act like a dog?
Or is it that he couldn't remember what the British Bulldogs were called? And so he was like, be the dog.
Or maybe he asked this 45 seconds ago. He forgot that he'd said dogs. Laxmi Narasimhan B, member for 4 months.
Yeah, he
is the Eraser Austin Theory, gimmick name courtesy of the chat, the Gilbert version of the cleaner Kenny Omega?
Very good.
Yeah.
Sebastian D has said, "Hi everyone, today is my birthday. Can I get a happy birthday, please?" Yes, you can. Happy birthday. Nate S, happy birthday, Luke. Can't believe Ollie is making you watch Raw and work on your birthday. What a heel. What's up with that, Ollie? I said, what's up? What's up? What's up? I was actually going to get this image saved, but I got a message from Angela from No Rolls Barred. She DM'd Adam on Instagram, I believe, and just said to him, "What's up?" And Adam replied with, "Hello, I'm good. How are you?" "Oh, for F's sake, I've just realised what you've done. Go to hell." Eternal Blue. The Sonic 2 trailer was lovely. Hearing Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails just felt right, doesn't it? But hearing Idris Elba's baritone English voice come out of Knuckles' mouth was still processing, but I think I like it. Oh, and Dark Elevation was fun.
Is that who it was?
Idris Elba's Knuckles,
yeah.
And lastly, Brett J. Rasmussen. This was another bad episode of Raw. Let's just beat all of the baby faces and really no one gets over. But anyway, can we just talk about Hook? The debut was amazing. What did you guys think of the match? Hashtag send Hook. Love you guys. Brett, obviously joining the chat late there. We did a lot about Hook earlier in the show.
I reckon we could have just titled this. We could have just titled the podcast Hook and talked about Hook again.
I mean, the numbers that the podcast did were the same as the Dynamite review. So, I mean, if we'd have done it, like that episode will do better than this one will.
Let's just run with Hook all the time now. And thank you, Mad Eyes and Lightly, for being membugs. But before we get out of here...
One's just come in. Chris Dudley said, "Hey guys, I'm AEW all the way, but this is a rare defense of WWE. Isn't Big E facing all the competitors similar to when Triple H did it on the debut episode of SmackDown versus Mankind, Kane, and The Rock? So, in your opinion, what's the difference?" I would say that neither of those were good.
Yeah, still bad booking. Well, before we get out of here, it is Luke's birthday today.
It is my birthday. I am 36 years old.
So from The Office, first off, little card.
Let me just pop this title on the very important table.
Nice.
Because, do you reckon, can you...
Oh, I'll hold it.
Yeah.
That feels good.
It's nice, isn't it?
Oh, the leather.
Let's get that there for some nice Foley work. Do you want to keep the envelope?
No, you keep it. Wait.
Do you want me to hold the title again?
No, I've got it. Because of lockdown.
Yeah.
I haven't
been to a birthday card shop. No one has.
And I also couldn't get everyone to sign it in person.
Okay.
So I'm not that prepared. There you go, mate.
Oh, thanks so much. Ooh, it's a nice... More Foley. Some Mick Foley there. Oh, look at that. It's a picture of Boris Johnson holding cheese and wine, and it says, "I hope you have a great business meeting."
Business meeting. Happy business meeting, Luke.
That is topical, and I very much enjoyed. Dear Luke Owen, DAD, happy birthday. Lots of love. Ollie, Laurie, Andy P, Adam, Richie's G&D, Tempest, Liam, Terry, Jenna, Abby, and the whole team kiss. Thank you very much. That's very kind.
And from us all, similarly wrapped.
Oh.
Now, I'm pretty sure this is it.
Yeah, you did say.
It could be cables. Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it does look like it. And it is... Marvel Villainous!
You haven't got Marvel Villainous.
I actually do.
Oh, no! I watched the actually good... I was looking at your background, and you had the other two.
It's one of my new ones.
Ah, no.
Yeah. I bought it just before Kate gave birth. And I really shouldn't have either, because we never have time to play it. But thank you very much. It's a very, very thoughtful gift.
Well, it's okay. We'll just put it in the No Rolls Barred set, and we'll find you something else.
We'll have the Office version of it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Your birthday present for the Office. From the Office to the Office.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who sent me messages today. It's been very... I'll turn my title back.
Okay. You sure?
Oh, you keep holding it for a second. Yeah. You earned it.
It could be like Paul Heyman for you.
It's upside down, though. There we go. No, thank you to everyone who has sent me messages on Twitter or anything today or in the YouTube comment. Thank you very, very much. It makes me feel very, very loved.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. No more chats or anything.
Let's see.
This is actually quite hard to hold up.
It is heavy,
away.
Isn't it? I realise that when I'm doing the news. It really hurts your arm after a while. No more chats. I think we can wrap this up.
Well, thank you, everybody. Not a good episode of Raw. But we've got Winter is Coming.
Yeah,
so see you on Thursday. And tomorrow is the NXT review with Laurie and Tempest. So be around for that. But for now, I've been Ollie. This has been Luke, DAD. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam, everyone. Have a great day.